Hello, fellow insurance dude or fellow insurance dudette. Welcome to this video. If you're running a PNC agency, it is critical that you know what acquisition cost is. We're going to talk about that in this video, and I'm going to show you why it's so important. 4 reasons why.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Hey there, my name's Craig Pretzinger. If you're in the property and casualty insurance industry, then you know that knowing your numbers is critical to your mission and agency's success. Acquisition cost is one of those most important numbers. It's exactly why we started the conversation the last couple of videos talking about lifetime value, because those are really critical numbers. Now, the other side of the equation is your acquisition cost. On our coaching calls, we talk about it. We refer to it as cost per sale, but it's the same thing, right? It's what did it cost in marketing spend to get that new client? And we measure that by tracking over time the results that we get, right? So we take our marketing spend and we divide that by the number of sales that we've had, and we're going to know how much it cost per sale to acquire those clients. Now, what we're going to find is there's a lot of things. For me, I know, like going back into the past and all the different things that I did a lot of things that you couldn't track and measure, that you couldn't figure out what your acquisition cost is. A lot of it was sweat equity. A lot of it took time, like going to, say, a trade event, right? Sitting at that show for the weekend for 8 hours a day, 2 days. Was that valuable, right? Like you could figure out the acquisition cost if you put a price tag on your time, right? So if you assign a value to your time, let's say it's a couple $100 an hour, and you spent 2 days, 8 hours a day, that's 16 hours, and you multiply that by 200, all of a sudden it's getting pretty expensive, right? So 200, why can't I do the math on that? That's a couple $1,000s, right? Just for easy math here. So if we're going to spend a couple $1,000s and then we only sell, let's say we sold one person from that event, now our cost per sale or acquisition cost of that client was, even though it wasn't real money, it was just the cost of our time. I'd argue time is more valuable, especially getting old. But that $2,000 acquisition cost is way too high, right? It's not going to pencil. How do I know that? Well, we know what our lifetime value is. Remember? Ding, ding, ding. We talked about lifetime value, and that's why I started with that. So now let's put these two things together, and we're going to be able to figure out if we're profitable or not. So that first thing, the first reason why this is such an important metric to watch and to measure and to know is that it is the key to understanding your business, your agency's profitability, right? From a marketing spend perspective. It's also going to help you. The second thing that is going to happen from knowing your acquisition cost is it's going to help you make well-informed, data-driven decisions on how to allocate your marketing budget. Let's say you have 5 different marketing strategies you're doing. I wouldn't suggest doing 5 different things unless you're really big and there's no debt and there's plenty of cash flow. But when we're looking at different marketing strategies that we're doing, we're going to engage in that marketing strategy for some period of time. It is important, very important, to set that time up front, and then you hold yourself accountable to that time. Because what happens is often marketing takes a little time to gain some traction, and it's easy to see the money going out, not see anything coming back in. You start to sweat, you start overthinking it. You talk to one of your agent friends who may or may not have believe in spending on marketing, which is imperative. We have to spend on marketing. Otherwise, we're not going to attract new clients. But you could get somebody who doesn't want to. And we all know that there's a certain number of agents who wear it as sort of a badge of honor. I've never bought a lead. Well, never written $2 million in a year either. So it's important that we focus on that, right? So we want to lay down the amount of time that campaign is going to last, and then hold ourselves accountable to it. If it's internet leads, because I'm so familiar with them, we could say 90 days, right? Unless we're not seeing a cost per sale trending down over time. So real important. Knowing your acquisition cost also, when compared against that lifetime value, lets you know how much you could spend. Okay, so why did I bring up lifetime value in prior videos? Why were we talking about it? Why did I spend 2 videos on it? Why was it so important? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because once we know exactly what we could spend to acquire a new client, that's our lifetime value, because we could spend up to that lifetime value and we're still making money. Once we start increasing, we're doing other activity, development activities on the back end to increase the lifetime value. That's a whole different thing. But let's then look at the other side of it, which is our acquisition cost, cost per acquisition, CPA, CPS, cost per sale, same thing, used interchangeably. Once we know what a good cost per sale, now we know our profitability, right? Let's say our cost per sale, good cost per sale on internet leads, under $200, right? So if we have a $200 acquisition cost, $1,800 lifetime value, what's our profit on that? That's right, $1,600. Now we're going to throw in other things that we can allocate as costs, right? We can look at our producer's commission. We can look at if you have telemarketers making dials on those leads, real important, we could throw that in there. But what you start to see is a really good picture of your spend on the marketing, what it's going to generate, and now you have predictability, right? So the fourth thing is you're able to calculate predicted margins and then fund your operation accordingly. That's the fourth thing, creating predictability. Once we know our CPA, we put that up against our lifetime value. It's a no-brainer. So why we need to know that CPA, and it's exactly the formula to be able to scale an agency. Because what we always say with folks that we talk a lot and help with these types of things is, guess what? As soon as you have a really good CPA and a good lifetime value where there's a nice spread, we're making money, pour gas, baby. We're going to pour gas on that fire and we are going to crank it up and turn everything into a capacity situation. So we want to hit capacity. Well, that is it for this. That's CPA. If you want to learn more, head over to www.theidudes.com. There's a checklist you can download, information about the event that we're having in May. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Take care.